with a lot of creatives, like we're ready for it to happen right now, and it's not going to happen right now. Like you have to be patient with the process, be patient with yourself. I would be so hard on myself if I felt like I was an 8 out of 10 that day. Like, you need to do better, you need to do better. If I'm an 8 out of 10 that day, that's just what I am in that moment. Celebrate that. Like, that's where you are right now. You can only continue to get better.
Welcome to Blundrs Radio, where our motto is live life and make blunders. Today on the show, we have a super special guest. She is a dancer, choreographer, graphic designer, dance instructor, and everything you want to be, but you haven't accomplished yet. We have today Brittany Jones. So thank you so much for coming, Brittany.
Woo! I'm so excited. I can't wait to just start talking. Like, let's just get into it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I always felt like, so Brittany is a super mystery. You can't find a lot of things of her online. You can follow her on Instagram, where you will definitely see like what she does as far as dancing is concerned and all of that. But you don't like to give people anything. Why is that? Why don't you like to give the people what they want?
You know, I've always so I'm outgoing, but I'm still kind of a private person, I would say. Like I get kind of, like, people actually think I'm shy when they first meet me. But, like, once you get to know me, of course, like, I'm going to be crazy. But, so I'm, like, shy, but I'm outgoing at the same time. Well, I would say I'm outgoing when it comes to doing my craft. So, in front of people, if I'm teaching, I'm super bubbly, like, yeah. But, like, in real life, I'm super just, I'm just chilling. So, I just try to keep certain things, I guess, under wraps as far as with my career, too. I'll kind of announce it once it's complete, or I'll put it out like as we're close to completion type of thing. But yeah, I just don't put a lot out there. I guess it's just I don't know, I guess it's a personal thing. Like, I'm just super, like I said, super private, try to keep.
You don't want people to sour it before it's done.
Right.
I felt like that sometimes too. I'm like, I don't know what, like, maybe it's like an energy thing, but I just feel like I can't necessarily give it to you until I'm sure. So that's interesting that you're like that too.
Yeah, because I was going to say, a lot of times, you have people around you too. Like, I'm big on energy, so I think, especially when I'm doing a project, I just want to keep good energy in the air. So, like, some people you're around sometimes don't have that same goal, so they might speak against it or they might talk down on it. So to avoid that getting in the atmosphere, I just kind of keep it to myself, or I tell certain people that I know won't do that to me.
Gotcha.
So yeah, like I like the element of surprise too. It's like people are always like, "Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing?" And then I'm like, "Boom, here it is." And they're like, "Oh my God, you've been holding this in for so long." So I like that surprise factor too.
Gotcha. Speaking of projects, so you're a dance instructor, you're a choreographer. I want to know personally. We talked a little bit off the mic about this, but I want to know actually what goes into putting together a dance routine. Because you do a bajillion of them, right? I see them all the time, and I'm like, oh, that looks really good. But for someone like me who doesn't really understand the ins and outs of dancing, and probably a lot of people who don't know, they just look and they're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Right.
I want to know from you, from an expert, from someone who's in the field, like what does it really take to put all of that together?
Well, I would say, number one, my personal process, I like to listen to the song a gajillion times, because something I teach to my class a lot is vibing with the song and trying to get into the artist's head. Like, for example, when you're listening to the lyrics, like, try to tap into what they're, I guess, the mood they're trying to give off with the song. Like, what are they feeling like? Like, if you were in the booth recording the song, like, what would your energy be, type of thing. So I like to really connect with the song. So I will play it over and over again. Like, when I'm traveling, like, just to and from work, I'll just keep running the song over and over. So I start with just getting it in my head. And then that also kind of helps me to hear different things. So I hear different beats, different ad-libs, just different instruments and things like that. And then from there, I kind of just see it in my head, like, kind of where I want to go with it. So, like, what pocket am I in? Or do I want to be aggressive on this part? Do I want to be a little bit softer? And then I'll just put it on my body and I'll just start moving. And then I just kind of let it take me. So eventually, at some point, I've heard the song, I'm moving to it, the moves kind of just start coming. But some people do it different. Like, some people like to stop with or start with no music and just start doing stuff, like just putting
Oh,
moves
really?
together, and then they'll put it to a song, or they might listen to the song, but then they'll choreograph it without music, and then they'll put it to the music. So everybody has a different method. It's just all about what kind of works for you. But I would say I think you should always vibe out to the song, at least to just connect with it, because that'll kind of give you the vibe that you should go for as far as with your piece.
Because choreography is not written down.
It's not.
That's the super unique thing about it, right?
Yeah.
I've never seen like a book. You know how they have like the martial arts book where it's like one,
Right.
and then it's like
It's very
two.
like instructional. Yeah.
And it's showing you each piece. But choreography is not like that, or at least I haven't seen it like that.
Right.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how you go about then memorizing it, since it's nothing's put down.
Yes, I was gonna say, I guess our writing down method would be to record it. Like sometimes we might, so once we draft the piece together, like I'll record it if I know I may not remember. Now, if I'm excited about the piece, like I really like it, I'll just remember it because I'm that excited. But if I need to, because I choreograph a lot of things, so me personally, I have to record some stuff because I'll forget like who I'm teaching the routine to. Like I coach girls, a girls. What do you call it? A dance team. We'll just say it's a dance team. So I have stuff for them. I have stuff for class. So I have to record so I don't teach my class piece to my girls. But yeah, I think that would be our writing down mechanism, just to record it and then go back and watch it. And recording is good too because sometimes you can see what you have put together and then you may not like it. So then you can tweak and go from there. So
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha. No, that's awesome. So you've been a dancer and a choreographer for about how long? Ever since I've known you to do it. So I kind of want to go back. Like, let's go back to your early years. So
Okay.
when did you start? When did you really start getting into dancing?
So 10 years old, a friend of mine was going to a summer dance camp. And so she was like, come, like you should try it out. And so I went, tried it out. After a week, I was like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna be a dancer.
So it
like
was
this
1
is
week?
it. It was 1 week. Like
Okay.
it was an instant connection because at the time I was trying different things. So before then I cheered for like maybe 3 years. Didn't like cheerleading too much. Just because like I was super scared to fly. They were always trying to throw me up in the air. So that freaked me out because I'm like, I don't want to be a flyer. Like let me put somebody up there. I'm not I'm not going up in the air. So I just didn't like that part of it because they kept trying to make me do it. And then I was trying other stuff, like just other recreational kind of sports. And then dance was just like, I knew right off the bat, like, this is what I want to do. And so
Right.
from there, I did summer camp. I started taking classes. I competed for a while. And I actually didn't start choreography until college. So choreography was never on my agenda. Like I didn't ever want to do that. So I just wanted to be a dancer. Like I wanted to dance behind the artists and go on tour. That was my whole thing. But when I got to college, I started a dance group there and I had to like somebody had to teach us routine. So now I'm like, oh, you have to make up the choreography. So that's how I got into choreography. And that's actually how I got into graphic design too. So we can talk about that later.
Okay,
But
gotcha.
so yeah, like it was just because it was just me. I didn't have the resources to pay a choreographer. So it was just like, oh, you need to learn how to do it. So I just kept pushing myself. And so from there, I did that for the dance team, but I still didn't want to take it serious. Like I was just like, I'm just choreographing for them. Like I still want to just be a dancer. And then after a while, people were like, oh, why don't you do this like for real? Like teach classes, like really push being a choreographer. And I was like, no. And then yeah,
A
from
lot, a
there.
lot of people don't. A lot of people don't know this about you though. But I remember when I first met you. It was, and I know you can go a lot deeper into this, but when I first
Right.
met you, it was like, let me throw up my camera, do a couple like my phone camera, and let me
Right.
do a couple things, and let me put it up and say I did something. Now you're obviously a lot more polished.
Yeah.
Like you've come such a long way. Can you
growth
tell me?
is real.
You're right. Can you tell me about the journey of that growth? Because again, I think a lot of creatives and a lot of people who maybe want to get into dancing, they think that it's just, oh well, it's just going to be how I want it to be from the start. But people
Right.
don't understand. Like when you look at your videos, for me, I think that's been what like a 5-year journey with
Yeah,
you
yeah.
or something like that, watching you grow and develop. So now like I have an expectation of you.
Right.
And I'm like, she better not come soft on
She
this
better
one.
not come soft on this one.
Right. Like that's really how I feel. But can you talk a little bit about your growth process?
Yeah, so I would say it was a good and a bad thing because, so what we would do, like I would just, my dance team, I was like, hey guys, like we would practice at the rec center on campus. Like I'm going to be here at the rec center, I'm just going to like vibe out. Like I'm going to just put some choreography together. Like if you want to come, join. And so some of them would come and then we would just keep doing that. And a good friend of mine, India, she would stay most of the time. So me and her would just choreograph. Like we would teach each other pieces. Like we were just, just kind of throwing stuff out there. And the good thing about that is with choreography, sometimes you just have to take the risk because you can do different genres of choreography. And I think by throwing it out there, just trying to do stuff, you can see what looks good and what doesn't look good because some pieces look good, some didn't. So you kind of know like, okay, like this style looks better on me. So I'm going to rock with choreographing on this style versus doing that. So we did a lot of that, just posting videos. And with that, we thought, okay, at some point, somebody's going to see this, we're going to go viral, and it's going to be over. Like, that's it. Like, we're going to take off. That never happened, like, at all. It never happened. Like, we would sit there and be like, okay, this is the one. This is the video that's going to take us to the next level. And then it would be like, oh,
right.
Nobody saw it.
But I think so many people think that. They always think that it's like it's one thing when we actually operate. Ironically, as an artist, I use something called 33 degrees, which is kind of like the basis number for latent potential. So
Right.
what that means is like, let's say you're trying to melt an ice cube and freezing is at 32 degrees. So when I first met you, you were probably at, let's say, 20 degrees, right? And now you do all this work to get to 28 degrees, but the ice still hasn't melted. So it feels like you didn't move, right? You didn't do anything. So then once you get to 32, 33 degrees, now it's like, oh, look, she popped overnight. She ain't do that. She ain't work hard. You know,
Right.
it's like a different mentality.
Right.
Or at least in the comments it is.
Yeah, because the comments go crazy because people just super know you in the comments. Like,
Right.
they just know it.
Right. They know everything about you. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, we're talking about latent potential and like how you can grow essentially over time. But tell me about some of the adversity that you faced. Did you ever think, you know what, dancing might not be for me?
Yeah, so I quit my job, quit my 9 to 5. And so I was like, okay, this is it. Like, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm trusting God. Let's go. Let's do it. And then it didn't pop. Like, it didn't pop at all. I'm like, okay, yeah, like I got money saved up. Like, we are going to do this. Like, this is it. And then it was just dry. Like, it didn't go the way that I planned for it to go. So yeah, I got bummed out. Like, for a while, I was like, I don't know what to do now because when I was working, I was still pursuing my career, but then I was unhappy with where I was. So I'm like, maybe I need to let this go and just fully focus on my career, what I really want to do. And now I'm doing that and I'm still not where I want to be. So it's just like, what am I supposed to be doing? So, I mean, I'm contemplating going back to work. I'm applying for jobs. Like I'm done. Like I'm not going to keep doing it. And then it takes like one video. I'm still posting videos throughout all of this. I'm still posting content. It takes one video, you get a lot of good feedback, and it kind of reminds you like you are supposed to be doing this. So, it was a period of time where I was just like, whoa, like what am I doing? Because I'm getting older now. Like the clock is ticking. Like what are you gonna do? So I just had to kind of remind myself and come out of just that mindset because it's all a mental thing for me. But I definitely dealt with a lot of just doubt. Like when it
Gotcha.
didn't pop off, I guess as quickly as I had hoped for it to. I was like, oh, then yeah, this isn't working. Like, who am I gonna dance for now? Like I said, I'm getting older. Like, what agency is gonna sign me? Like, all these thoughts just running through my head. Like, you just need to go find a
Right.
job again.
One of the things that I really noticed about you is when I first met you, I felt like dancing was something that you did versus now I feel like your identity is a dancer.
Right.
Which is a big shift for you. So like it went from like, hey, I'm Brittany and I dance. Now it's more like I'm a dancer and my name is Brittany also.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the vibe that you put off now. And I think that confidence that you've been able to put off, how long do you think that took? Like, do you think, how long did that take for you to really grab hold of that?
Honestly, I would say last year, that's kind of when I really was like, okay, like you're talented, like you can do this. It's gonna be kind of up and down sometimes, but like the point is consistency. So I just kept telling myself, be consistent, just no matter what. Like even if you don't get the reaction you want off of a post, like just keep posting it, just keep being consistent because that's just what it takes. I feel like a lot of people that I watch, like comedians that are like these social media influencers, they're consistent. Like they're always consistently posting. So I'm like, let me just get consistent and just keep working, keep improving. During this time where I'm not at the top or whatever, I can just keep perfecting my craft. Like, because there's always something I feel like you can work on. So let me just keep getting better. And from that, I started to just, celebrate myself more. Like I'm focused on getting better versus focusing on when am I going to pop off type of thing. So I used to just record myself and just watch myself and just critique myself, find out what I can get better at. And then from that, it's like, for me watching myself, I'm looking at myself like, oh, you really are good, and people will tell you that, but sometimes you have to just kind of see it for yourself. So that kind of gave me a confidence. And from there, it's just been different. Like this past year, the most confident I've ever been, like my whole entire life.
And you can see it. You can see it with what you do. And obviously, like I've worked with you on what, like three
Yeah.
songs. Yeah, 3 songs at this point. But I think it's because of kind of how you put off, right? Like you put off like I'm good at what I do, so like you have an option. Like that's how it's presented to me. You can have me. You know what I'm saying? Like have me make this bigger for you. Because that's what you're gonna do, and you don't have that mindset of like, oh, I need to be asking or like pulling teeth to try to get what I do. You're like, look, this is what I do. This is how I do it. And I think that energy is definitely coming off of you more, which is amazing to see, right? Because again,
Right.
I was with you with the
From
with
the
just
beginning.
with the camera, and y'all don't know this, but she's hilarious. She is like one of the biggest clowns like that I've met. Seriously, like she is just awesome, great energy, good to be around. But I noticed you mentioned something just now when you were talking about celebrating yourself. Which is huge. Can you talk about how you've been able to celebrate yourself as far as taking care of yourself? Because this journey can be pretty rough. Anytime you're in entertainment industry,
Right.
generally it's rough. It has ups, it has downs. Can you talk about how you're able to like take care and celebrate yourself throughout everything that you face?
I would say give yourself, I would say patience, honestly, because I think with a lot of creatives, like we're ready for it to happen right now, and it's not going to happen right now. Like you have to be patient with the process, be patient with yourself, because I think that was my problem. Like I would be so hard on myself because I'm like, what you want to look like. Like I have goals for how I want myself to look as a dancer. Like if I want to be a 10 out of 10. Like, I would be so hard on myself if I felt like I was an 8 out of 10 that day. Like, you need to do better, If I'm an 8 out of 10 that day, that's just what I am in that moment. Celebrate that. Like, that's where you are right now. You can only continue to get better. So just telling myself, like, hey, where you are is fine. You're going to keep growing. Be the best that you can be right now. This is where your body is. This is where you're comfortable. So maximize off where you are right now.
That is huge.
Because
That's huge.
a lot of times we just, we're so focused on we're overdoing it. Like, I need to be a 10 out of 10, a 10 out of 10. If you're at a 5 out of 10 right now, you're only going to be a 5 out of 10. So be the best 5 out of 10 you can be. And then giving yourself breaks because you're so on go. So now I'm taking advantage like of nap time and just taking a day to just not do anything. So I try to give myself one day out the week to just sit there and relax. And I actually start doing that after quarantine because that allowed me to really reset and regroup. And I'm like, I need to do this more often, like, because it just kind of helps you just to get back in focus. Because sometimes you're just going, you get tired, and that's when you start hating what you do because you're so tired. So, yeah.
Right. And I think people need to know this too. We haven't mentioned it, but although she's super famous and you can't find anything out about her, you can catch her at DSA because you teach classes, right?
Yeah.
At DSA. So can you tell us about that experience and what do you do so that people who are in the Atlanta area, like, so that they can find you? Because I already talked to you about this off the mic. I was like, we got to bring our camera crew. I'm going to go into a class.
Come to the class.
And you're going to teach me a routine, but I got to pick the right day. Because I see sometimes you be like, it's heels day, or it's like, or it's like sass day,
Don't come on heels day.
and see how my knee is set up. I can't even go. But can you talk to us a little bit about DSA and what you do there?
Yeah, so I started teaching at DSA. I just made 3 years there this summer, actually. Oh, wow. So I started teaching there in 2017, and it just changed my life. Like, I was able to be around a group of people that I aspired to be like, because I feel like a lot of times you're around people that are just like you're on the same level. So being around people who are leveled up, it's like you can only try to level up
Oh,
with
she's trying to
them.
help y'all now.
Yeah,
She's
so
trying to
like,
help y'all now.
because sometimes like, it's like what they say, like, if you can't sit in a room with people that are on the same level as you. Like, you have to step out and go into those difficult rooms where the talent is way, way more dense, or way, there's someone always better than you, so I feel like that should only push you to be better. And that's what DSA was. Like, every instructor that was there, fire. And I'm like, I'm just a little flame. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep up. So that being there helped push me to kind of where I am today, because our boss, she's also like a good friend of mine now too, but she always just pushes us. Like, you think you're doing good until she's like, no, you can do it again. Like, and so she kind of pushed us to our potential. And from DSA, that kind of gave me my platform as far as people seeing me now. So from there, now I'm recording videos on a professional camera. I'm getting professional pictures done. Like, now it's a job for me. So it really was a job. So now I'm like, I'm actually in my career, and it's a job. Like, this is work. So it changed my life. So I'm teaching there. I love teaching there. I teach every week. I'm teaching now on Tuesdays. So Tuesdays we do jazz. Now, I do jazz. I do hip hop as well. So I would say if you're gonna come, you will have to come like maybe hip hop. If I do a hip hop piece, I would say come to that.
That sounds like that should be the day, because
Yeah.
I don't know. I like jazz, but like I don't know if I like jazz enough to like.
Jazz is it's intense. Like, I go stupid with the jazz. So
And one thing that I know for sure about dancers, which is the same as the people who are composing the song, you have to hear it a lot.
Yeah.
You have to hear it. You have to absolutely hear it a lot, because I remember when we did the projects together, and you were doing some of my songs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, she knows the lyrics. I'm like, oh, she knows the lyrics to the song. Like that.
Yeah.
That's huge. But I think it's a testament to how serious you are about your craft,
Mm-hmm.
and how much you embody what you do, and that's really awesome. And with DSA though specifically, why do I feel like it's just an amazing place to be? Like, I don't, you know what I mean? I don't, because everybody that I've seen, and I follow a couple on Instagram here and there, because you guys all like cross kind of.
Yeah, we take each other's classes and promote.
Right, and do it like that. But it just seems like it's such a great time and such a good vibe. And I remember there's a video of you that's on YouTube. I found something, right? and you're just such an encouraging person. Someone came in there and you were just explaining to them like, hey, look, you have this, right? So like, let's embrace this and just work on this. Keep coming back, keep working, keep doing that. And that was just super dope to see. But that made me feel like, what makes you that encouraging? Is it something that you try to do intentionally, or is it something that's just natural for you? Like, where does that stem from? Where does that come from?
I think it's natural, I would say, because I just try to pull from my own experience. Like, and the beautiful thing about teaching there and also taking classes there, we get the same experience as a student. So some of our students, we're in class with them, taking like another class from another instructor. So I go through it with you type of thing. So, and for me, just seeing my growth, like, I'm all about helping people grow, because I've been through it myself. Like, that's kind of my whole testimony is just growth. Like, allow myself to just be better and better and better. So I always try to just give people feedback, because a lot of people will come in there defeated. Like, they come into the studio already, haven't taken the class at all, just, I don't know if I can do this. Like, this just, like, you can see the defeat on their face, like, as they're taking class. And so we just try to be reassuring as a studio as well. Like, we try to be very welcoming and let people know, like, this is a class, but it's not a competition. Like, nobody's here, nobody's sitting over here about to sign you or do anything. Like, it's just us. Like, we're just here to have a good time, and we're a very family oriented place. So we just try to give people a warm and comfortable experience. Like, we still try to push you, of course, because we're gonna try to get you to the level you want to be at. But we want you to know, like, if you don't accomplish what you wanted in class today, that's fine. Come back, because you have to keep coming back anyway to get better.
And that sounds very similar to what you're explaining about your own personal journey, which I find very interesting, right? So earlier you were talking about how, like, when you were down and you were out and you were like, okay, this might not be for me, I'm just going to stay consistent and keep going. And now with your students, it's very interesting. You're doing the same thing that helped you.
Yeah.
And that is super, super dope that you're doing that and that you're taking the time to do that. So that's amazing.
Yeah, it's very parallel. So, like, I tell people all the time, I can only speak from, like, what I go through. So it's like, and people, like, I've had people break down, cry, like, just after class because they're so, like, defeated, like, and I'm like, it's fine. Like, and I think it just comes from, like, sometimes when you're in a room with a lot of talent, you get kind of intimidated sometimes. But I'm like, we all started from somewhere. Like, no one in here can talk about anybody, because I could pull up my videos from a long time ago and it's a mess. So I can't sit here and judge somebody on their journey. Like, I remember when I was like that, or I remember when I wasn't the best dancer or the best choreographer. So you just have to take the judgmental aspect out of it and just approach them like people. Like, hey, like, I understand. I've been through that, and this is what I did to get out of it. And people, like, they love that. They're like, I love that you guys are encouraging here, and you'll get that from every instructor there. So
Gotcha. No, that's good. That's good
Yeah.
to know. So speaking of, encouraging and all that, who have been your biggest cheerleaders throughout your career and throughout, doing what you've done? Because obviously I know you said you quit your 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And you were like, you know what? I'm going into these streets of
Going out in the
entrepreneurship.
streets. Yeah.
So who are some of your biggest cheerleaders?
I would definitely say my parents, and it's interesting because when I told them I was quitting, they were like, "What? what are you doing? Like, that doesn't make sense." So, but the thing about them, like, they support whatever I do. So in the midst of them saying that, they're like, we support the dance thing. We've always supported the dance thing. So we know you're going to be successful with it. We just, of course, are concerned, but we're going to support that. Like, whatever I do the best you can at it. We're going to put what you need, money, whatever you need, we're going to help you get there. So they're definitely, like, my biggest support system. And then, like, my friends, I have, like, amazing friends. So they always push me. Like, if I could be recording a routine, for example, and I'm like, oh, I think I did okay. They'll be like, no, just do it again. Go for it again. And then when I go for it again, that's the best time I've done it. So, I have people like that. They're like, no, you're not going to be mediocre. Like, let's keep pushing you to get the best, like, version or the best take of this routine or whatever like that. So
Right.
I can't count on, it's a lot of people that I can name, fortunately. So I'm happy to even say that. Like, I have a good support system. Just across the board. Like, even the girls I coach, they're in high school, but they go hard for me. Like, I think I posted a video, someone reposted it, and I was like, hey, can y'all go, like, tag my name? They tagged my name in, like, less than 2 seconds. Like, you guys are amazing. Like,
yeah, I mean, that younger generation, they go hard. I remember when you did the one for me, all of a sudden they were, like, everywhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, she has a mob that's coming with her. She has a social media mob. You have your own beehive.
Yeah.
She has a Brittany hive.
I have a Brittany hive. That's so funny.
No, I was like, wow, it's all of them. And then like they started, like, having a conversation with each other, like on the post. I guess that's amazing. But obviously that's because you've resonated with them, and you've done that, and you're an inspiration to them and what you're able to do. I can tell that with your demeanor. And I think that's why I think that's why you carry yourself a certain way, because you know that people are watching you, and you know that people are looking to you for certain things. But I wanted to ask you as well, who are some of your inspirations? Who inspires you? We can. How about this? Let's do some famous people, and then let's do some people who might not be as big yet, or maybe on the way. Because I know, like, people will, like, sit down and they'll be like, who's your inspiration? They'll be like, LeBron James, and you're like, okay,
right, yeah. Okay,
yeah, but like who you know what I'm saying? Who's really next to you, like, kind of inspiring you and helping you, on a daily basis?
Well, I would say, I would honestly say every instructor at DSA, like we equally, like they just inspire me. They've always inspired me from the beginning. So shout out to them because we're all kind of in it together as far as our glow up or our come up. So they inspire me to just keep going because you're right here going through it with me type of thing. Because they're entrepreneurs too. Like they don't work for anybody but themselves. So my close friends. And then I would say I have a few. So one dancer that I love is Kaylin Harris. She goes by KK. I love how she dances. Like, I love how powerful and clean she dances. There's another choreographer named JoJo Gomez. I love how she choreographs. I love her choreography. She's actually one of my favorite choreographers to watch. And then I would say Paula Abdul. I love Paula Abdul. Because I love Janet. My family has a nickname. They call me Janet. Like, my cousin dances too, so he's Michael, I'm Janet. It's kind of, But but Paula Abdul choreographed for Janet Jackson, and I love Janet, love Janet. So, and I love her choreography. So, yeah, those would be, if I had to pick a top three, that would be like my top three. But of course, I love like Debbie Allen. I love Lorianne Gibson. Like I have a list of people.
Okay, gotcha. There's a lot of people.
Yeah, they're like favorites for different reasons. So like I was saying, like one is a dancer. I love how she dances. I love how some dancers like execute. I love how some choreographers hear the beats. So it's different reasons why I like different people, but they inspire me in different ways.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Okay. And then also I wanted to ask you this, because obviously we're Blundrs Radio. Mm-hmm. So we talk about living life, making blunders, making the mistakes. So I want to talk to you about, some of the maybe mishaps or mistakes that have happened in your career. I know it's been a journey of ups and downs, but are there some things that you look back and, because you've given so many gems today on certain things that can really, really help young creatives come up. Mm-hmm. So I would love to go in a little bit deeper and find out, what are some mistakes that Brittany makes, because you don't make them anymore. So I don't see any anymore.
Still make them. I would say the biggest mistake that I did was, I think with timing, like posting something too early. Like, for example, like with chicken, like if you season the chicken and you let it marinate overnight, the flavors kind of blend together. It's gonna taste better. Now you can still season the chicken the same day and it still be good, but if you let it marinate over time, like overnight, it tastes better. The flavor is a little bit better. So I kind of apply that to just posting content. Like sometimes I think we try to push so much content at one time because it's like we're trying to keep up with whoever else is posting, and like we'll go back and look at it and be like, oh, well, I should have changed that, or I should have did this and did something else. If we took the time to like let the piece kind of sit for a second, then come back to it, we could tweak it, and then we record it and then we put it out. Now that's our best project or our best result versus pushing something too early when it's not ready. Because a lot of times, for example, like with classes, like when we teach pieces every week, if your piece isn't done or if it's not, you haven't spent enough time with it, like you kind of can fumble in class because it's like, I don't know the piece, it's not really on me for real like that. Like I kind of just made it up on spot, or I made it up like maybe last minute. So now I'm trying to just finesse in class. But had I sat with the piece, I could have really dove into it. I can teach it better now because I know it's on my body type of thing. So that's kind of something I learned, because going back to when I first started, we would just post everything. All those videos we posted didn't need to be posted because all of those weren't good, but it's like we were just trying to keep up, just keep posting. But sometimes you got to let stuff sit and then put it out there because, like you said, you get a better result. And then it kind of keeps people on their toes, like, what is she up to? What is she doing? And then I post this fire routine. It's like, that's what I've been doing.
Because all of them are fire now. And,
right.
and I just have to say,
Thank you.
was that had to be the most eloquent way I've ever heard someone explaining how to season your posts, people. Season your posts. Do not come out here with just bland chicken.
Don't do the bland chicken.
We're over that. Don't just throw some salt on it and start to cook it. But really, that's important. And that's not just important for dancers. That's important for anybody who's a creative. Because I know for me personally, I hit that point too. Mm-hmm. Right? And it's interesting you're talking about it because I feel like you're talking to me, which is so interesting because it's like, because you hit a point where you feel like if you're not keeping up, then you're not doing anything.
Right.
You know, even though
Right.
behind the scenes you may be working, you know, or we are working, right? Like we're
Yeah.
busting our tail to get everything done. You're teaching classes, you're getting ready for classes, you're putting all this
Yeah.
different stuff together, and you're like, oh, but wait, now this side has to get something, or I didn't do any,
Right.
or it feels like you're not doing anything, which is just not. It's just not true. So I said all that to say, season your chicken, people. Brittany says,
Season it.
season
Like,
your chicken.
I promise you, like, let it sit. And it's not to say, because there's some people who can come up with choreography like 30 minutes before class and it's beast mode. But still, like, it's not to say you can't come up with something fire last minute, but it could be even more fire if you let it sit, type of thing. So that's something I had to learn, because when I create something, especially like a concept video or something like that, or a visual, I'm so excited. Like, I can't wait to post it. But then it's like, maybe you want to go back and look at that and just maybe let's just re-edit, or maybe we need to just shoot it all over again, because now that I'm looking at it, it's not really what I want. And by giving yourself time, you have the opportunity to do that. If I just went ahead and posted it, it's out there now. Like, I can't do anything like to change it. So it's,
Gotcha.
give yourself
No,
time, like, let it
that's
sit.
great. That is really amazing. And also, right, we're all built differently.
Mm-hmm.
So this was something that I struggled with personally, was I have to find out what my routine is.
Yeah.
What works for me? What's going to make me the best that I can be at what I do? So for instance, when I was playing soccer in college, I had a teammate who he could stay up all night. He could eat whatever he wanted to. And we would have practice at like 7 a.m. And he would wake up at 7 a.m. and he could run a 2 mile in under 12 minutes every
Stupid.
time.
That's just stupid.
Right? Like he can just do it. But if
That's
but
not
if
fair.
I hang out with him and I live that lifestyle, and I try to do the same thing, I might run a 2 mile and not make it. Like they'll be like,
Right.
where is he at? You know? Like, where is he? Like, what's going on? And I think that's important, and I think you shared a little bit of that as well, like knowing what works for you. So what are some techniques that you go into and you're like, okay, I got to do this to avoid making some mistakes, to avoid some of these blunders that I've made in the past? What are some things that now you've established, like, this is what I do to make it work?
So I actually pulled like a technique from when I was in school. And I just have to be proactive. Like, I have to just be prepared. Like, this is as petty as just like today. Like, I left my shoes because I didn't put them in my car. I should have put them in my car yesterday. Like, like being prepared the day before what you have to do. So that's the same thing I apply with choreography. Like, instead of waiting to start on a new piece a few days before class, I try to start. If I can start a week before, like that's better for me, because I have a whole week to fine tune this routine, and then I have to get it in my system, and now I'm really ready to go. Like, I'm super prepared. So just, yeah, giving myself time, like just being ready in advance. And that's what I did in college. Like, I was very like, if my homework was due on Friday, like, okay, let me make sure I try to complete it by Wednesday if I can, Thursday at the latest, but I'm really shooting for Wednesday. That way, I know what I'm doing. I know my deadline. I'm already set, and then I'm not stressed when Friday comes because I've already done what I needed to do. So giving yourself, like, again, like time, like really being proactive. Like, if I know I have to if I have to choreograph for a show or something, I need to be working on the choreography a little bit in advance before that show. Like, if the show is on Saturday, I need to be working on it Monday at least, really Sunday or that Saturday before. Because if not, I'm stressing out. I'm nervous to teach it because I don't really have it all the way together. So, yeah.
That was what I was going to ask next. Have you ever pulled up into a situation and been like, man, I just really don't, I'm just not ready to
Yeah.
teach this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, have you ever felt like that?
Yeah, I think if someone tells you, an instructor or anybody says that they haven't, they're lying. Like, everybody has dealt with that at some point, whether it was one time or 2 times. Like, you go through that because sometimes, like, life hits you. And I think I dealt with that when I was working still, because I didn't have as much time to kind of sit, because I'm working 9 to 5. I'm working 40 hours. So I really only had 5 to 12, and I'm trying to sleep too at some point.
Right.
So, that's when I kind of experienced that a little bit, like just not being prepared, because I'm focused on everything else. I'm trying to work, and then I'm tired. So I have to make stuff up at the last minute. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm kind of stressed out in class. And of course you kind of get through it, you finesse, but it's like, as you're going through it, it's difficult, because it's like, I don't really have this together, and I'm up here trying to teach somebody, and I don't even have it together. So it's kind of Yeah. So I've definitely dealt with that.
Gotcha,
For
gotcha.
sure.
So everything that you've been sharing with us today obviously is going to help people tremendously, just from understanding like process, routine, ironically, right? Dance routines, life routines, and different things like that. But one thing I want to switch gears a little bit, and I want to talk about. I noticed something with your website, right? When like the world kind of got tilted on its head, right? I noticed that you were very, very proactive in jumping up and being like, hey, look, this is what I stand for and this is what I do. So can you talk to me a little bit about like your feelings surrounding that? Because I just felt like it was so apparent. So
Right.
it was not on accident. You know, you weren't one of those people that just were like, hey, you know, this happened. You were very proactive about it. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about that so you could share with some of these creatives, you know, some of your beliefs and what you stand for.
Yeah, the whole movement, like, so what really pushed me to do it this time was the last time it happened. I remember with Trayvon Martin, like that really affected me because that was the first time I heard a lot of us heard about, the past kind of repeating itself in a nutshell. But I felt like I could have done more. But my mindset then was, I'm young. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, what can you really do? And so this time when it came back around, I was like, no, I need to use my voice, and I felt like I had more of a platform this time too. And so I wanted it to be a drastic thing, like, I don't care about what I'm doing. Like, you need to see this first type of thing. Like, go straight here before you start looking for me, before you make a request to get a design done. Like, I need you to pay attention to, like, what's going on. Because I knew it would be in people's faces, too. We're all at home. Like, people are actually paying attention now. So I just, my thing with the whole thing is just seeing change, like, finally happen. Like, I really want to see something different. And I want to see just, our people elevate. Like, let's educate ourselves on what they don't want us to know. Let's get smart. Let's pour into our own businesses. Like, let's really push each other. And actually, like, when I was researching, I didn't know that there were, like, there's probably more now, but there's at least 2.6 million Black-owned businesses. And I'm like, we could be so rich. Like, that's a huge number. So stuff like that, just researching and really digging more into stuff that I didn't even know, because I'm learning a lot too, just throughout the whole thing. But that kind of motivated me to just really just say something now. Like, why not? Even if I didn't have a platform, I still would have tried to do something. And it goes back to consistency. Like, my whole goal is to consistently do things that remind people of what's going on, but also to, promote change. Like, we need to get a little bit more consistent, in my opinion. So that was kind of my whole goal with it. And I always hear a lot of, I don't know what to do. I don't know. So I made it a mission to educate myself. Like, let me figure out on my own what I can do and provide that resource for other people.
And DSA is Black owned.
Yeah.
DSA is Black owned.
Yeah.
Okay, because I noticed you had the Black owned businesses like section on your website, and I just remember because it was interesting because I remember like the last time I went, it was nothing like that. So then when I went back this time,
Huge
it had
difference.
so many things that were pointing to it. So I didn't want to let you skip out of here without talking about like a major change that you made that was clearly intentional.
Yeah, it was super intentional. And like, just the people around me, like my good friends, hey, Ashley and Trella, hi. But we kind of, push each other too. So like Ashley kind of helped with, as far as like Black-owned dance studios. Like, we kind of were like, hey, like, we all dance together. Let's start supporting each other. So we were very focused on just seeing a difference within our community and then a difference within the system. So they're amazing. So we kind of, it's within that circle, are trying to just do different things. Trella actually owns DSA. So of course, like, she's trying to think of things to do just to promote or just to, show support of the movement. But yeah, like, we just felt like it was important. Like, now we're older, we're a little bit more wiser. Like, we have a voice. Like, I think a lot of people don't say anything because they feel like they don't have a voice, but everybody has a voice. Like, there's something you could do to make this different. So
Gotcha. No, thank you for sharing that with us. I mean, that's brilliant. I think a lot of people needed to know. And like I said, I didn't want to go through this whole interview and not mention that, since that is definitely another piece of your identity, amongst other things, and just the fact that you're able to balance graphics and you're able to balance dancing and you're able to balance instructing and choreography and when you have to teach class, and I'm sure you eat in between time at some
Right.
point, and
Yeah.
then
If I can.
maybe get a break, and then
Maybe
like
sleep.
and look, I'm not even gonna lie. Look, I got to tell you this too. When everybody was like quarantined and you would like run your like little classes and you would do them from your house, I was like, I gotta tune in.
Yeah.
Like I can't not tune in.
No, you did tune
I'd
in.
worked with you like a couple times as well. So I was like, man, you know what? I'm gonna support. Like I'm not gonna lie, like I wasn't really like up and doing it because
Right.
it was too advanced. You know what I'm saying? But like I'm the type, you know, I watch you do it and I move my head with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, like just like that. That's what I do because that's how I feel. You know, that's how I feel comfortable. But definitely, as I said before, we should probably try to do that. Try to get up and
No, that would be
put it all together.
amazing. Like, you should definitely come to the studio. Like, that would be amazing.
Because okay, last thing we got to talk about. I went to a Halloween party, right? I went to a Halloween party and I got to check out. I mean, that was like DSA plus, right? Plus
Yeah.
people. That's like DSA plus everyone else. Going to a party with a bunch of dancers is like one of the most amazing things ever.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it is so fun because you're like looking at everybody, and because everybody can dance, there's no pressure on you.
Right.
Because everybody else next to you is like, oh, I got this. I'm
Right.
next. I'm next. And then someone else is coming in and everybody's gassing everybody up. It was
Yeah.
just such like a good vibe and a good energy. You know what I'm saying? I was in the corner like, you know, hitting my Fat Joe. You know, like that's what I was doing, but that was just such an amazing thing. And I think you were an astronaut.
Yeah, so funny story. I was supposed to be Penny Proud, but I didn't get the outfit in time. So that astronaut outfit is actually from like years ago. But I'm like, that's a good thing about buying costumes because you can, I'm like, I'm about to use this again because first of all, it was like $50. So we're going to wear this again for
Right,
sure.
right.
Another Halloween, let's just give it a couple of years. So that's why I had that on. I had a whole different intention. Like somebody else was going to be, who was going to be Key? Key was going to be, she teaches at DSA too. She was gonna be Dejanay. Like we were gonna do the whole thing, and then another one of our friends, Eric, was gonna be Sticky. Like we were gonna really,
y'all went in.
Like
Y'all
we
were
were gonna
going in.
really do it. But I still want to do it. Like I think maybe we can try it again this year. If not, well, no, probably next year because we might not be able to hang out.
Yeah.
So maybe next year, if we could do next year. They talking about 2022, so hopefully not 2022. But
You never
know.
Yeah, we're
But-
we're living in a weird time for sure.
It's weird, but that was fun. Like and that's just how we are. Like we always are gonna boost you, or gonna hype you up. Like it was nothing but, you're correct, like nothing but dancers. So that was fun for us because as dancers, like we'll go out to places, but people don't dance, and like they'll try to push us to do it, but we're like. I mean, we'll dance, but like we're not gonna sit here and go full out, like do a full show for you. Like
I feel that. That's like when they play instrumentals and everyone's looking at me like, "Come on,
like, do
come
it."
on."
Like, we're-
like this is your moment.
No.
Yeah, you don't feel. Look,
No.
so here's what messed me up with y'all. Okay, so somebody walked in, right, and everyone was surrounding them and like gassing them up to dance, and I was like, "Oh, look, another normal person," right? So I see dancers and then I see normal people, right? They're like two separate people. So I'm like, "Oh, look, a normal person that they're hyping up, and this is gonna be great." So they're like hyping, and this person starts, and I realize that it's not a normal person, right? And I'm like, no one in here is normal. It's just me, and like you know what I'm saying? Like everybody in here has superpowers, and I'm just in here with, I think I wear like a martial arts outfit. I'm a black belt, so like that is like my go-to.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I was just like, oh, okay, cool. I got these in here, so I'm gonna put it on. But man, I'm telling you, and then it was crazy because it was in a house. So then it's like you go to the living room and you're like, oh my gosh, that is insane. Like that person's knees are built out of steel. And then you go and then like you turn around and you look in the kitchen, and then like somebody's dancing like in the kitchen with like a plate in their hand, like, and I was like, this is the most amazing party that I had ever been to.
It's
and then
so
people were hitting me
amazing.
up and they were like, where you at? And I was like, don't even worry about it, bro. Because like, if I leave here,
good.
I'm going home.
We're good.
Like, oh, it was an amazing experience. So like, I really appreciate it. I want to thank you for like the invite because that was really cool. I really appreciate it.
It was so dope that you guys came because like I said, it was fun for us too. Cause like I said, we don't get to do that. Like it's either everybody's just holding the wall. We're just like looking like like we always are viewed. If we do dance, oh, they being extra. Like, why they gotta do all that? Like, we all just sitting here looking at each other.
That's because there's no competition.
Yeah,
though.
like, they're not, so it's always like y'all doing too much. So that was like a really good space for everybody to just do too much, quote unquote. So we had a great time. Like, I remember like just looking around the room like there's just so much happening, like in different sections, like you said. So
yeah, it was crazy. So if DSA promotes any type of Halloween party and you're not there, you've missed it. I'm gonna throw that out there because I'm not gonna lie. That was probably, I haven't had that much fun at a Halloween party since probably college.
That's so dope. That's what we were going for. Like, we really wanted it to be like, let's just have fun. Like, no judgment. Like, let's just have a good time because, like, I've been to Halloween parties before and, like, it's like everybody's just, we take a picture in a costume and then we just...
You look at everybody else.
Like, I came here to take a picture. Like, I could have did that at the house. Like, why am I here right now? I wasted gas.
Especially when you go hard on your costume.
Yeah,
right?
like I went all out, and we're just gonna sit here and look at each other. And they're like, "You want some punch? You want to?" I don't know because it's gonna make me upset. Like, you're trying to get me lit. And then I'm gonna be upset because I'm lit. Nobody's dancing. Like,
you're like, I'm a lit astronaut. And nothing is,
I don't want to take off. Like, like, I want to go home. Like, no. So it was fun. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. I would definitely, I wouldn't change anything about that night for sure. That was an amazing night. It was just all good vibes.
Yeah.
Zero dramas,
right.
Zero issues.
That's the thing,
it was
too.
just like, because I love that. I love coming into a place. It's just like people love each other. People want to have a good time.
And that's it.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody, to me at least, everybody seemed comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, whoever wanted to dance was dancing, which was a lot of y'all with superpowers. I'll say that. And then I'm over there thinking, like, I'm the type of person, like, have you ever seen Double Dutch? Like, the people who never jump in, that was me. I was like, wait, I could do. Nope.
That's how I feel like
and I'm like, what is she doing? Is this the Matrix? And like her back hit the floor and then like came back up. It was an amazing.
Is this the Matrix right now?
It was a great experience though. But yeah, so I wanted to shout that out for sure too. So, but what we're gonna do now, you picked the Swaggy Penguin earlier.
Yes.
Right, the Swaggy Penguin, which we'll flash it up on the screen for everybody that's gonna say something, because in the last episode I tried to show it on the iPad and you can't see it. Okay, so we did a little like blurb, but now it's gonna flash over my face. Boom, right there. All right, now it's gone. So now we're gonna set this up. We're gonna play a beat and we're gonna let. Hey, that's BJ, Brittany Jones. We're gonna let her freestyle. And y'all can pretty much say whatever you want because she's amazing. So it doesn't really matter because bar for bar, you guys can't do anything. So that's just how we feel. So we're gonna close the curtain. Thank you so much for coming though. You are awesome.
Thank you for having me.
You're
this was
amazing.
Fun.
Seriously. Just everything that you do is great. And we're gonna flash all of your stuff in the beginning and the end, but the best place to catch you is Instagram, right?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. I'm on Twitter sometimes. Like
Instagram, guys.
Yeah, Instagram.
I have a great time with Instagram.
Do
like,
Instagram.
Seeing her content.
I am gonna start updating my YouTube though more too. So that'll be another task of mine. But yeah, definitely Instagram for now. You'll find everything there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, let's close the curtain and then we're gonna get right into it. Let's do it. All right, we're going in. Hey, that's BJ, Brittany Jones, Blundrs Radio. Thank you for coming. This is you right here. I saw you on IG Live. I saw
Let's
you.
get it.
This is your moment.
Let's get it. Oh, the beat didn't drop. Hold on. I got you.
It's
Just
a
playing.
lead up. It's a lead
It's
up.
a lead up. They thought I was gonna start. I'm not. That's what it was. Yeah. Turn me up. Let's get it. Yeah. I'm sitting in the car. I'm not driving far, but I got these bars.
Ooh.
And I don't play with candy bars.
Ooh,
I'm coming through the store. Hit them at the door.
Hey.
Don't touch me though. Caroro, don't touch me. I'm coming through with my crew. We step to the club. We not going in, boo. Why? Cause it's closed. Cause Corona outside. We can't get in, cause Corona outside.
Corona outside. Corona outside. Can't get in cause Corona outside.
Corona we can't get in because
Corona
Corona outside.
outside. We
Corona
just made
outside. Corona outside. Can't get in because Corona outside, because Corona outside, because Corona outside.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing. Thank you so much for coming. Shouts out to Yergi on the beat, Curious Creator with the visuals. Thank you so much. We're gonna have to do this again.
We are. Mixtape coming soon.
Yeah, because you're definitely like, you just bring the fire. So we'll have to bring you back, especially after you go on your 7-city tour.
Yeah,
that's
just hit me
brewing.
up. You know, we'll make it work. You know, I'll get in the studio. Cause you know I don't go for too long. I can't give them too much.
Right.
You know, so I'll just come in, knock it out. We're good.
Let's do it. All right. Thank you so much, y'all. Blundrs out. Let's do it.